I can't do that.
Welcome to Jags Drive Time with John Oehser and Brian Sexton. Jags Drive Time starts right now.
We'll take a knee and get out of here. The clock continues to turn. This place is empty.
It ain't empty because I see a bunch of teal colors over in the stands.
Trevor's going to take a knee. He takes a knee, and that will do it.
Right there at the end, that scuffle
was Trevor.
He was in the middle of it, and I think he was letting these Tennessee Titans know, boys, I'm here, okay, and this is going to be my division in the future.
Responding after last week as a team, we were pissed off when we had to come out and answer a division opponent. Team we haven't beaten in a long time. We wanted to get this one back.
It's our house now. That's all I gotta say. Been disrespectful too long. It's time to go. Let's go. Duval. Zone 4. Shout out to y'all, man. We coming back home with this.
It was always the Jags, baby.
Well, how could it be anything but a good morning when it starts that way? Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Drive Time from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Brian Sexton alongside John Oehser. You know, John, last week after the loss in Detroit, the week felt like every day felt like Monday. It's tough to shake that hangover, right? This week, it's already Thursday. Yeah. It feels like it's racing by.
Yeah, and we work for the team, so we want the team to win.
Yes.
But in our position, there's a neutrality to that. You don't really get caught up in that, but what I loved about that clip we just showed, I went to the BCB gathering, Bull Sea Brigade gathering in Nashville, and talked to a lot of people who I consider friends after knowing them now for 6-7 years. They probably don't feel the same way about me, but a one-way friendship has developed, and the passion that they feel for it, to have the moments. I haven't talked to any of them since the game, but I can't imagine that they weren't watching Trevor go after the defensive lineman, wave to the fans, point at the scoreboard. They have their guy. The Jaguars have their guy. Right. I wrote in Quick Thoughts this morning, if there was any doubt that this was his team, and I didn't really extend it to this, but his fan base, it ended right there. This kid is fun. He's competitive. He does it the right way. He's got a little sass to him. It's going to be fun around here for a while with this kid.
Yeah, this could be the start of something big. I mean, you can sense that. And I go back to yesterday's conversation with Brian Broaddus from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, talking about Jacksonville being that Green Bay kind of market in the South, the one-horse town. And it's small, but the fan base is passionate. And when they show up in places like Nashville or Tampa a couple of years ago, they go somewhere every year. You can see the genesis of it. What they needed was someone like Trevor to just make it all fall into place.
And there was such a cool moment and when you're in the press box,
that's where it's air conditioned or heated, depending on the situation.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
I could live there. But you don't feel it. As I've gotten away from the day and seen more clips and talked to more people, there really was a feeling of, all right, we're done being kicked around. No more. This is going to be ours now. And if it's not ours, you're not going to take it from us easy anymore.
Right.
And I thought that's what the scoreboard look was. It was a little it was a little juvenile and sassy, but I like that.
Well, and it's allowed us to kind of hang on to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's made it fun to chew on all week long. So big shout out to Trent and the crew that puts that all together, all the photographers in the Jaguars production department. They got great shots of all of it, and you can see the entire sounds of the game on Jaguars.com.
Trent's right over there, by the way. He's pretending he doesn't hear you, but he heard you.
Well, he's
even through the glass. He's sensitive to his name being called.
I'm sensitive to the fact that it's time to move on because the Cowboys present a huge challenge on Sunday for the Jaguars and another moment that the fans can celebrate a week before Christmas. So let's roll right into big things here on a Thursday. And we'll start with the different Doug. Look, hey, Doug has never been the guy who talks about running the ball and how many runs and balance and all of that. He's a guy who likes to throw the ball. He's a former quarterback, after all, and he understands modern offense. However, yesterday, talking to the media, he did hint that it might be a little something different on Sunday.
You need more. You need more out of the run game. You probably need that 120 to 130 yards. You need to somehow slow the pass rush down. You've got to be able to do that, and sometimes even the mindset of playing ball control, and keeping the ball out of their hands is an explosive offense. You're always going to play teams that are, really good run defensive stopping units, which we've had the last couple of weeks. This is another one that, is doing a pretty good job in the run game. But, we just gotta maybe call a few more, and then execute a little bit better.
Big thing, too, is better take two to chin straps, to aspirin before the game. The Cowboys are a team that runs the ball with two running backs. They average 144.5 yards per game. Each of the running backs is on pace for 1,000 yards. Each already has 9 touchdowns. That's the engine that makes this go. You see the big highlights of CeeDee Lamb making the dramatic catch down the field, but it's those two running backs that make it go. We'll show you that in just a moment. First, though, let's go to Big Thing 3, which is... 'Twas a Thursday before Christmas. Here we go, folks. I mean, the intensity of this game goes far beyond the fact that it's the Dallas Cowboys making only their second ever visit here to Jacksonville to play a football game. The first was opening day 2006, so it's been a while. The other side of the coin is that it's a big game. It's meaningful football, and we talked back around, training camp, right, in the preseason. Just give us some meaningful football games around Thanksgiving. Here we are now with a big, meaningful football game the Sunday before Christmas. Players understand what that means.
We're excited about the sold-out crowd. This is the type of environment that we've hoped for back in training camp, and now we're at the opportunity that we get to play meaningful games this late in the year. Something special, man, and I think everything that we're doing now is, it's a part of what the steps that we had to do to grow the organization as a team. So, like I said, man, earlier, we're excited about it, and it's just the next opportunity, next man up.
All right, those are big things. John, just talking to folks around the building, the crowd we're going to see here on Sunday is going to be reminiscent of the Patriots in 2018, some of the Steelers games throughout the years, some of the biggest, boldest crowds that Alltel Stadium, Jacksonville Municipal Stadium, now TIAA Bank Field has ever seen. It's going to be a huge event of a game.
Yeah, and there's going to be Cowboys fans there, but guess what? There's Cowboys fans in every stadium in the league when they play. That's how it is. I said a couple times, I said on our Huddle Up podcast yesterday with Bucky Brooks.
The Bucky Brooks?
The Bucky Brooks. Well, it's his show, his town. I think there's going to be Cowboy fans, but I don't doubt for a minute that the Jaguars fans here are going to be the dominant presence.
No.
And they're going to be – now, they've got to continue to earn that throughout the game because if you're down by 10, they're not going to be the dominant presence. But I think the Jaguars fans are going to come out in force. I think they're ready. I think there's enthusiasm about this team. I think it's going to be exciting.
All right, let's jump back to the running game because Doug talked about having to have 120, 130 yards. And earlier this year, you couldn't get him to give you a number. He didn't want to be pinned into a balanced kind of conversation. But just look here. The Jaguars over the last 4 games have only averaged 67 rushing yards per game. Now, part of that you can say is falling behind in Kansas City and Detroit, and obviously that's the case. Baltimore, that you lose Travis Etienne, so you only get 38. So there is some circumstantial evidence for why that number would be low. But there's a 71.5 yard per game differential between what they're getting on the ground and their ability to have control of the ball and the clock, as opposed to you see what the defense, unfortunately, the last 4 games has not been very good stopping the run.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the graphic here, but it's a good graphic because it obviously shows the drop-off. I think the drop-off primarily is not necessarily effort or commitment to it. I think it's more they haven't broken big runs.
Yeah.
For the first 8 or 9 games of the season, it was remarkable how often you saw Etienne break a run. And then they broke a couple for J-Rob when he was here. But Travis Etienne was breaking 25 to 49-yard-ish runs with remarkable consistency. That hasn't been there the last 4 weeks. I think some of that is sort of, I don't want to say luck, but it's tough to pop him in this league. And sometimes it takes one, maybe you're one play away from popping it. I believe it's a key this week. I don't necessarily think it's going to be 26 carries anywhere from 3 to 8 where you get that kind of number.
Right.
I think Etienne's going to need to pop a couple. I think if he breaks 2 over 25, I think they can win the game. And it seems like a lot, but there's been games this year. Washington, I think Indianapolis, he did it. Multiple games where he's done that. I think they're going to need those sort of big plays from him.
Worth pointing out that the Ravens and the Titans both top 5 against the run. On Sunday, Dallas, not top 5. They give up a lot of rushing yards, about 130 per game. So perhaps the chance to break one will be there. Now, here's why Doug needs ball control, right? And let's show you the graphic of the comparison with these two running backs from the Dallas Cowboys. And Pollard and Elliott, you can see right there, both averaging more than 4 yards per carry, both with 9 touchdowns. They're different runners, but they're both capable of beating you. And so my question to you is, can the Jaguars stop the Cowboys' rushing attack?
Well, I don't know that they can stop it in the sense that when you look at the stats at the end of the game, you're going to see them both under 35 yards. I don't know if it's going to be that kind of stop. I think what they can do is stop them enough, and in some situations, say, for example, they have 3 drives where the Cowboys really get it going, and those drives could very conceivably create 130, 140 yards rushing. If on 3 or 4 other drives you get a big first down stop, you're 2nd and 9, you force them into passing situation, you get them out of it, then it's the old thing. I don't think this defense is going to be a dominant defense for 12 series a game. But if they can get 4 or 5 big stops, get them off the field in situations, I think they can stop the run that way. I think the Cowboys are probably too good to think that you're going to have a huge number that's on SportsCenter. Hey, they did this. But I think you can stop them enough to get control of the game the way you need to get control of it.
All right. When we come back, we'll take you around the Jaguars locker room on the Wednesday of this very busy, energetic, and exciting week for the Jaguars and their fans. Around the Locker Room is next on Jags Drive Time here on a Thursday morning from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
This holiday season, unwrap a brand new Dreamfinders home. You'll enjoy everything that makes the holidays merry and bright with family and friends in an expertly built, energy-efficient Dreamfinders home. What could be better than calling one of St. Johns County's magnificent communities such as Shearwater, Beacon Lake, or Silverleaf home as 2022 comes to a close and an exciting new year begins. Plus, with an interest rate lock special from Dreamfinders Homes, the timing is perfect to be in a gorgeous move-in ready home. Happy holidays to all from Dreamfinders Homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Sudeth is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Sudeth crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and efficiency, it's no wonder why Sudeth is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the past 100 years, Sudeth has provided local, long-distance, and international moving services in Jax. Call 904-638-7536 or visit sudeth.com/Jags.
Now, Jags Drive Time on a Thursday is brought to you by our friends at the Fields Auto Group. Fields Auto Group Jacksonville. Step up to luxury. Visit fieldsauto.com. Brian and John back with you here, Jags Drive Time. We're in Jacksonville, awaiting the arrival of the Cowboys this week. First time they've been here since 2006, and of course, a huge crowd is expected at the stadium. Now, you can't go anywhere in this town this week, which is what makes it fun, without people wanting to talk about this game. And the players also are excited to talk about this. We went around the locker room, and let's start with Josh Allen, who knows what this defense needs to do to keep it going.
That's what we pride ourselves on this defense, man, is to get the ball. But it's going to take all 11, and that was the core message to the defense, man. We all have to play all 11, especially this game. And this is another opportunity that we can have a game like this. The Cowboys are a really good team, front end and back end. So we all have to be locked in. Communication is going to be key, and we all got to get to that ball. We got to stop the run, and then we got to rush the passer. So we're excited about this matchup.
Pretty much says play good defense, but it goes back to the takeaways, creating the turnovers, John, which early in the season when this defense was playing at a high level was the case. They got off to a hot start. They got to stay hot now.
Yeah, it's been turnovers all year. I made the case the last couple of weeks. I don't think this defense has regressed lately. I think it's been what it has been most of the season, a defense that has some troubles in the back end and doesn't rush the passer at an absolutely elite level in the NFL. But when they get takeaways, when they take advantage of the opportunities they do get some energy and they play much better. It can be an effective defense to help them win games if it plays like it did last week, which is, I thought they deserved a lot of credit last week for continuing to believe in themselves, even when maybe circumstances could have told them that they shouldn't. I mean, Derrick Henry was running, and the Titans were running. They had 14 points, and yet the defense kept playing hard. They kept believing in what they were, and then they started getting turnovers. Dewey made a play. Trayvon made a play, and it's sort of what I talked about. I think the Cowboys could have some effective drives, but if this defense continues to believe it can stop them, get some early stops on first down, get them in situations, you can get them off the field enough. That's what complementary football is when you're not a dominant unit. They're not there yet, but they can get there enough to win this game if they do the things we're talking about.
Well, I just asked you off the top of the show, can the Jaguars stop this Dallas Cowboys running offense with those two backs averaging almost 145 rushing yards per game? So let's hear from Jaguars middle linebacker Foye Oluokun, who just happens to be the NFL's leading tackler through 13 games. Can they get this job done?
Zeke will kind of grind you down. I think he's very explosive. He has moves of his own. Pollard can slash. He has moves. I mean, they're very too talented. Nice little stable they got there. Kind of feed off each other, run well. With one eats, the other one's going to eat, right after that, just because it brings a little bit different kind of pace to it. So, really, 11 is one. I mean, that's how to stop a run game, get in your gap and get to the ball. If one of them cuts it back, have the next guy clean it up, miss a tackle, somebody clean it up. Everybody hunting like we did last game, get to the ball from the first quarter to the last quarter.
Be a challenge because that offensive line for the Cowboys, even though it's not as good as the great Cowboy lines of the last 10 years have been, still has talented guys like Zach Martin who can get out and make trouble for you.
Well, they're good and they can run block and they can dominate the game, as he said. Again, I keep saying it over and over again, but I truly believe the key is going to be how they play on first down. Can they get them into bad down and distance situations and allow them to rush the passer and not always – you cannot be in 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2 over and over and over again because then it'll get numbing and they will be in control of the game. They've got to get some penetration and make plays on first down. I mean, frankly, to the point where he doesn't have to make the plays all the time. Get the penetration and take the middle linebacker out of it. Defensive line has to penetrate and trip these guys up before they get to the line.
Trevor Lawrence has been the talk of the town. For that matter, he's been the talk of the league this week, coming off his 368-yard, 3-touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown performance. He has been as good as a quarterback as there is in football over the last 5 weeks. And Evan Ingram was the beneficiary on Sunday in Nashville, catching a Jaguars record by 1 yard over Pete Mitchell's 161-yard record. Now the record holder for most yards by a tight end Evan Ingram's big game in Nashville with 162. He shared some thoughts on his perspective of young Trevor Lawrence 13 weeks into this season.
Each little bump in the road that he experienced, he's learned from, he's grew from. And he's became a stronger player, a stronger teammate, and a better person of it too. And he's just being himself. He's playing with swagger, he's playing with confidence. We feed off him, and I know he feeds off of us too. So the sky's the limit for him. I know that because I just know how he works. I see how he works and how he prepares and how he carries himself. It's really cool to see. It's a blessing and it's a privilege to be part of it for sure.
There is something to the sense these guys get when they know their quarterback is that good.
It's everything. I mean, when he plays like that, they know they have a chance in every game. And throughout the course of ever since I've been following the league, when teams have quarterbacks like that, they never think they're out of it. It raises the level. I think it raises what we were talking about the other day with the defense. It's much easier to play defense and continue to play hard even when you are giving up some points if you know the quarterback's keeping you in it and just one play that you make can be the difference in the game. They know what special is and what's not. I mean, when I was with the Colts, for example, Peyton Manning was not always the most popular guy in the locker room because he led very strictly sometimes. He expected a lot out of teammates, and you don't always love that, but
you respect it.
They knew they needed him on that wall, so to speak, to use the old Jack Nicholson.
Right.
And you never doubted the direction. You never doubted if you have a chance, and that carried him to a lot of games they shouldn't have won. I'm not going to compare Trevor to Peyton yet because Peyton did it over the course of his career. He's a Rushmore guy to me, but he's showing traits.
They both wear 16.
Oh, yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
All right. Let's go back to the dominant theme this week beyond Trevor, and that is a big game. And one of the most intense Jaguars is left tackle Cam Robinson. He's that guy who shows up ready to bring it on every single play, a tempo setter, if you will. And the Jaguars will obviously need him to feed off this crowd and to play his best football on Sunday, and it sounds like he's ready.
Yeah, no, it gets. I don't think people. I mean, just kind of because of the way it's been around the past few years, I don't think people understand that when the stadium gets full and when it kind of gets going, it gets going. I mean, we're in Florida, man. This football country, so whenever the football teams are rolling, it's always fun. They pack the bank out and it's loud and it's a great environment.
He is one of those guys, one of those key guys that brings the intensity.
Yeah, I remember in 17 when he was a rookie, Nate Hackett told, the offensive coordinator at the time told me he was absolutely critical to their offense. And it was a rookie left tackle, and at times he played okay, played fun, whatever. And it wasn't necessarily what he did in terms of playing, but he was the guy who went and defended teammates when there was, a scrap. He was the guy, the spiritual leader of the team already, if you will. And I think because he doesn't do a whole lot of media like that, he doesn't really effort to put himself out there. I think sometimes fans might not really sense that about him, how important he is to the spirit. I hate the word spirit, but in this case, the spirit and the moxie of the team, Cam's a big deal on that front.
All right. That'll do it for Around the Locker Room. When we come back, he will, he won't, he might. But first, the 78th annual TaxSlayer Gator Bowl returns to TIAA Bank Field on December 30th, where the number 21 Notre Dame Fighting Irish face off against the number 19 South Carolina Gamecocks. For more information, visit TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. We're back right after this.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags fans, it's Shaquille Griffin of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know you love when we put the QB in his place with a big interception, and now Luray Boyd Peanut Company is making every pick a winning play with the Peanut Pickoff. Every time the Jaguars make a pick, Luray Peanuts is going to donate to youth football initiatives throughout the Southeast, and the Jaguars Foundation will match every dollar. We get one play closer to victory, and our kids get to train for a brighter future. Everyone wins, except for the other team's QB. But hey, that's his problem.
A Dream Finder's home is an amazing way to celebrate the holidays. Unwrap your family's future in a new St. Johns County community like Shearwater or Beacon Lake as 2022 comes to a close and 2023 awaits. What could be better than an expertly built, energy-efficient, move-in ready Dream Finder's home to enjoy everything that makes the holiday season merry and bright? How about an interest rate lock special from Dream Finders, which will secure your new home at a big savings? It's the holiday gift that keeps on giving. Happy holidays to all from Dream Finders Homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com. Well, Sudeth is Jacksonville's trusted and reliable moving company. Sudeth is proud to be the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. To get a stress-free quote, call 904-638-7536. That's 904-638-7536 or visit sudeth.com. Sexton and Oehser back with you here on a Thursday morning, and that means he will, he won't, he might. And John, we'll start with you.
Yeah, and I kind of went chalk here. I went Trevor Lawrence, which I usually don't do with this. You try to pick somebody who's not really a major storyline. But he will be such a key to the game that I'm not sure you can ignore him this week. I think he'll play well. I think we're beyond having to worry about disastrous games from him. He won't match his numbers from last week because they were pretty staggering. I think the Cowboys' defense is better than the Titans' defense. But he might be the factor that allows them to win. And by saying that, I mean more than just this game. He might be at the point of his career where he's the reason that they can go win these kind of games.
Right.
It doesn't always happen, even for the elite guys. I don't know that 2 months ago we would have sat here and said that about him. That, hey, they have a chance to go win this game because they have 16 on the roster. That has been sort of building over the last 4 or 5 weeks. But I think all of a sudden now you're sitting here on a Thursday and saying, why did the Jaguars have a chance to win this game? And the number one reason is because they have Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
That's a huge difference. And regardless of what happens on Sunday, the fact that you can say that changes the dynamic of this franchise dramatically from what it was.
Well, and just his whole the approach that he brings, right? The entire approach. Yesterday, he stood in his press conference and talked about that interception that he threw in the red zone in London against Denver and how he felt after the game. I mean, he's just such a pure competitor in that standpoint. You don't have to guess at what drives him. He's about football, and his teammates know that as well. So I'll go with that understated storyline that you were talking about. I'll go with Luke Fortner, the Jaguars' rookie center from Kentucky. He will be a huge reason why the Jaguars do or do not protect Trevor Lawrence on Sunday, not just because he's one of 5, but because the center, as you know, is the quarterback of the offensive line, and this Cowboys defense is second to the Eagles with 48 sacks. And just watching Phil Rauscher in the portion of the media time on the practice field yesterday and the intensity with which he was talking about where everybody lines up and how things change fast, this rookie center's got to have his head on a swivel. He's got to be very well prepared. I say he will be on Sunday. He won't be a guy that anybody talks about after the game. They'll be talking, if the Jaguars win, about Trevor or Travis or Josh Allen or an interception from Campbell. I'm telling you, though, he won't be talked about, but he might be the reason why they win, John, because if Trevor Lawrence is the best, most important reason why they have a chance to win, well, then Luke Fortner's got to be number 2 or close to it, because he's the guy who is going to make sure that Trevor is protected by seeing what the Cowboys are doing and the time that he prepares this week in the film room.
I like it.
All right. And with that, we'll take our last break. And when we come back, Monday's headlines today.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
At 5-Star Credit Union, you inspire them to go the extra mile to meet your financial needs. That's why they offer Jaguars fans more banking options like better rates and no hidden fees. Their team is also dedicated to making the communities they serve stronger, volunteering their time and talents while donating millions to local nonprofits. 5-Star Credit Union, 5starcu.org. Go Jags!
This holiday season, unwrap a brand new Dreamfinders home. You'll enjoy everything that makes the holidays merry and bright with family and friends in an expertly built, energy-efficient Dreamfinders home. What could be better than calling one of St. Johns County's magnificent communities such as Shearwater, Beacon Lake, or Silverleaf home as 2022 comes to a close and an exciting new year begins. Plus, with an interest rate lock special from Dreamfinders Homes, the timing is perfect to be in a gorgeous move-in ready home. Happy holidays to all from Dreamfinders Homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com. Sunday's game against Dallas is presented by our friends at Renewal by Andersen. It's a better way to a better window, and you can find them at rbafla.com. The game on Sunday presented by Renewal by Andersen.
You know, it says a lot. I mean, these guys work hard together. They practice well. It starts with Luke inside with communication and spreads from there, and really all five guys have played really well. Played solid and consistent, and that's what you can ask, of your offensive line to do. And, they pride themselves on trying to keep the quarterback clean if possible.
John, on Sunday in Nashville, the Jaguars kept him clean. That is no sacks allowed for the sixth time this season, which is the most in the NFL this season. Yeah, and a franchise record.
They've had a strange year because they're a good group, and they've gotten too much criticism for a long time, and they get criticized a little bit this year because people criticize the offensive line. They either give up zero or they give up a couple.
Right.
And it's hard to kind of explain why that is. I think Trevor has helped them. I think he gets rid of the ball quicker. I think any line is going to be helped by a quarterback with pocket awareness. That's improving. But overall, they give up 23 sacks this year. This is a good unit that is well coached.
And in two of those cases, right? So they gave up 4 to the Eagles, and the Eagles had a big lead in the second half.
Right.
So they were able to take them. Same thing with Kansas City. They gave up 5 to Kansas City, and Kansas City had a big lead, and they were able to send Chris Jones, and they created a lot of situations.
You're on the road. Yeah, I mean, and that's 9 of the 23. So that's
and Detroit got 2, and one of those was just trash time. I mean, at the very end of the bowl game. So they've been pretty good this year. They're going to have to be really good on Sunday because Micah Parsons is a guy who makes your head turn. And an old fan, Dante Fowler, is doing pretty well for them.
Run
that
and
scheme.
stay ahead, and the pass rush gets a lot harder to do on the other side.
All right. Got a headline for, wait, hold on. We have a nifty little jingle here.
Oh,
it's time for Monday's headlines today. All right, what you got?
Well, if they win, that's the headline. Welcome to the future.
Yeah.
So I like that.
There you go. You like it.
But I think that this wouldn't be the headline, but I think this is going to be the theme, if you will. One last hiccup. And because I think the Cowboys might be a little too much on Sunday for the Jaguars yet to beat, because I think the Cowboys are really, really good. That being said, they have 3 more after that. If they don't win this, it's not done, and I think they're going to run the table after this game and make it very interesting at the end. This game, whatever happens here, unless the Titans go out and beat the Chargers, which I don't think they will, everything is still the same after this game for the Jaguars.
And I'll give you one on the winning end of it, right? Because I think that Trevor Lawrence, I know that the defense is better than the Titans' defense, though Brian Broaddus told us yesterday that the secondary, they've got some issues back there. I'll say his star is teal, and that is I expect Trevor Lawrence to have a huge game. It might not be 368 yards and 3 touchdowns, but you will feel his presence in this ball game, and I don't think that the Cowboys run away with it. I think the Jaguars have an opportunity in the fourth quarter, and whether they win or whether they lose, his star is teal as a playoff of the silver blue star.
Yeah, I should clarify. I've picked against the Jags a lot this year, partly because it makes it more interesting because we're all talking
100%.
about it. I came really close to picking him this week. There's something about this team right now, and I know I'm being,
It takes you back to 96. There was something about that team, too, that you couldn't put your finger on, but they just found a way to get it done.
So I really like the Cowboys overall, which is sort of why I'm picking them. But it would not surprise me if we're sitting here talking about a win on Monday.
All right. And that'll do it. Jags Drive Time on a Thursday. Thanks to John and to Joe and to Reber and Cho and our entire crew here for a good week on Drive Time. We'll hope to have a better week next week, maybe talking about a win on Monday morning. Have a great rest of your day. Get some Christmas shopping done, folks. See ya on Sunday.